Hi guys. So, quick question. Have you ever thought about like who you call in case of emergency? Like I'm not talking about your emergency contact person. But I mean, have you ever like thought about like when you feel like you're in an emergency situation, or when you feel super stressed or something, like you know either you're really hurt, or you just got some bad news, or let's say you got into a car accident or something like that. Have you thought about like who's the first person or persons or people that you call? Have you ever thought about that? Like, I mean, I'm just saying, have you have you ever thought about that? I find that to be interesting because I mean, sorry, y'all. I'm finally eating. It's been a long day, but you know how sometimes you just want some comfort food, like macaroni and cheese. Yeah, it's one of those comfort times. Anyway, like I don't know. I had something happen to me earlier this week, and like I just find it very interesting because when I looked at my phone list of like who I called, right? Like who I actually like place phone calls to. Of course my mother like 16 times, but mom, of course, probably your family, your mom, probably your family, your moms, like your mom's a mom or dad or whatever is going to be on there, right? But here I am, like, it doesn't matter how grown you get. Like, whenever you go through anything that's a little bit trying or even traumatic or anything, like any kind of emergency situation, like most of us, first thing you're going to do or first person you're going to call is your mom, right? I mean, to be honest, like, I can remember even when Travis passed away and I was in the hospital, and I remember calling my mom first thing. And I can remember calling my mom and my dad, but letting them know. They knew I was at the hospital anyway, but it was before I knew he had passed. But I remember calling them like a little child, like when you lost it sounded like you lost your cat or something, like you lost your dog or something, like do something, of course in that situation it didn't work, but it doesn't matter how grown you get, you always like call your mom. Or whoever is that figure, right? Whoever is that kind of a comfort food kind of person to you, or whoever is comforting to you, right? So anyway, I mean, of course, then you're going to probably call your friends or whoever else is close to you, right? And that was just something I've been reflecting on this week, because when I really looked at, my three people that I actually talked to, when I had my little situation this week, I realized like that probably represents like who you love the most. I mean, when you think about it, right? Like, if you call your mom, you probably love your mom. Like, I mean, you love your mom. Like, there's no probably about it. But anyway, your mom. That's a given. That was what I'm trying to say. That's a given, right? But whoever else you call, if you're not married, because probably you're gonna call your spouse, right? But like, outside of that, if you're not married and you call your best friend or your girlfriend or whoever else that you call in that type of a situation, when you feel either overwhelmed or you've had something crazy happen, right? That obviously represents a person that you trust and probably love. Like, in some sort of fashion, you probably love that person and you probably trust them. You trust them enough to call them, and you probably love them enough, right? To call. There's some sort of love there. It may or may not be romantic love, right? But it's going to be love there. Anyway, like, I was just thinking about that because, like, sometimes when we unknowingly, when I say, like, sometimes your actions speak for themselves, right? Your actions speak for themselves, and and your actions will tell on yourself. Your actions will tell on you. Like, literally, your actions will tell on you. Like, as far as who you feel is either in your corner, who you trust, who you love, right? In situations like that. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's just the truth of the matter. Like, there's no two ways about it. And I think that, you know, if you were, you know, if you were my, you know, if I called you during my little incident this week, if I called you on that day, if you're even watching, you know, but you know who you are, right? Like, in some sense, that's really a compliment. More than a compliment, it's more of a testimony, I guess you could say, as to how a person feels about you when a person calls you in the middle either of a crisis, you know, or a trying time, or when they just don't know what to do. I mean, because as independent as I am, and as independent minded and whatnot that I can be, I don't want to actually be, you know, independently single forever. I mean, it depends on who my options are, right? Depending on, because I'll never ever choose to be controlled over independence, just because, you know, when you have your moments that are kind of like crises or whatever, and that you wish you had, you know, a husband for me, but maybe, you know, if you're a guy, maybe, you know, a wife or whatever. But like, even despite those moments or whatever, I'll never choose to be with somebody who I know is controlling, or who I feel is controlling in any kind of way, over my single independence. Please, I'd rather just go through those moments and be okay with it, you know? I mean, go through those moments single. Okay? But anyway, like, when times like that happen, right, and you really think about it and just meditate on it. See, the thing about it is that I can't help but be a deep thinker. I just can't help it, right? And I've been thinking about this all week. And it's like, this is something that I always tell people. I always say, it's like, literally, life is so fleeting. Life is fleeting. People out here be acting like they just know they're going to be here tomorrow. I say this all the time because that's what, I mean, I really feel like that. Like, I can't tell you, like, people respond to people, and people think that they have, like, forever with so-and-so or somebody or whatever, right? And sometimes people respond to somebody, and when I say that, I mean, like, have you ever had a bad experience with somebody, like in the store, a stranger or somebody who overreacts to something, and you know they're probably just having a bad day, but if that person had the outlook of, like, they may not be here tomorrow, or even one of their loved ones may not be here tomorrow, they probably would not be overreacting to something little or silly or dumb so much if they had the view that they may not be here tomorrow, right? You understand what I'm saying? Because I've had people who have literally overreacted to stuff and acted crazy over dumb stuff, right? And it's like, in the scheme of life, this is not a big deal. You know, whatever they're overreacting about. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, for example, I heard on the news a couple of days ago. I saw this on the news. Well, I saw this on my news feed, but it was on one of the local news, and I didn't even it happened so fast. I heard it though. I got to go back and see where it actually happened at, because I don't know where it happened at. But somebody found, I guess, 4 children passed, or, you know, dead in a trunk or something. I don't know. Somebody, obviously, I got to go back, and I only heard a piece of the story as it was, like, scrolling through, like, as I was driving. like I heard it, but I gotta go back and watch it because it took my breath away and it really upset me. And I'll have to go back and look at it because I will want to pray over that family later on tonight. But I just saw this today, so it said 2 days ago. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, really? Oh my God, like, everybody, every day, people are going through things that are so difficult, more difficult than probably whatever your situation is or whatever it is you're going through. Can you imagine going to your car and finding your children dead, like because of an ex or because of a husband ex? I don't know. It was it was some sort of domestic violence situation, and it took my breath away. It really upset me. Like I said, that kind of stuff is so devastating, right? So devastating. And those moments of crises happen all the time, every day, around the world to people. Like, it happens. If you get to have a support group, or if you have a circle of support around you, if you have friends, family, or if you are still fortunate to have your parents alive and you get to like call them or whatnot, like, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. And also, whoever those people are that you like immediately call during that time of crisis, right? You should make sure that those particular people know that you love them that much, that you love them, that you care about them, right? Because you obviously do. You trust them enough, and you have care for them. Like, they obviously hold a special place in your life. They obviously hold a very significant spot in your life. I mean, and do they know that? Do those people know that? Right? I know for me, I've been reflecting on that this week. And it never ceases to amaze me how fleeting life is. It's like one day you can see somebody and the next day you may not see them again. For whatever reason. That's a very surreal thought. That's a very surreal type of thing to think about. It's surreal. And so I guess what I want to say is, whenever you go through something, or you have gone through something, right? And you know who your people are that you call, or that you did call. Like, you should let them know that you love them, that you're thinking about them, that you care about them. Okay, because tomorrow is not guaranteed to anybody, and for anybody. Like, tomorrow is never guaranteed. So if you have something to say, you should say it. Playing games is stupid, and that's for toxic people, like I posted earlier. Playing games, or you're missing the mark. Playing games is for somebody who, to me, doesn't value life and doesn't understand how fleeting life really is. And tomorrow is just not guaranteed to nobody. It's just not. So, anyway, also too, he mentions in that video, I just posted a clip of it in my shorts, but he talks about in that video how, and I really love this. Actually, let me see if I can find it on my other phone. And I'm going to let you guys hear it, because I think he talks about how, this is a video by This guy is his YouTube is called The Superb Word. Okay, and this particular video is called How to Court a Woman in 2025. I really like this guy. I like this video, okay? But I'm gonna fast forward to a particular spot that he was talking about how often you should call a woman. So let me see if I can find it, because I really like what he said.
Keeping an open mind
Let me see.
and being authentic is going to work in your favor, because the reason why I believe in this one so firmly is because you have to date a woman in a way to where it's okay if she's not vibing with you. You have to date a woman
Let me see.
Are thinking about texting her, but you don't have anything
in mind
to talk about. Don't
right here.
Her. It's safe to not text her if you don't have anything that you.
So he talks about how often, and how fast or how soon you should call a woman.
Doesn't like something about you.
And I love the way he actually got this so spot on. Let me see.
Now, this is an example of authenticity when you say, I don't really like that. Have you ever eaten it? No. Well, then give it a try. Okay, I'll taste it. Keeping an open mind and being authentic is going to work in your favor, because the reason why I believe in this one so firmly is because you have to date a woman in a way to where it's okay if she's not vibing with you. You have to date a woman in a way to where you'd be authentic even if it changes her perception of you. You don't want to try to.
So talking about that, actually, side note, this is another side note to the side note. Talking about that, he's talking about being authentic, right? Even like on a first date and just dating in general. I have to say that my late husband, he was so authentic. He farted on our first date. I mean, like our very first date, like that we went out, okay? He was so authentic, and he authentically could keep that up. I remember, because we went out on a date, and he was like, oh no, I can't have bubble guts. No. Would you rather me do it in the car and stink you out? And that's what I loved about him. I remember he was so real and authentic with me. He was being real with me. Like, I really liked that about him, that he felt comfortable. And that didn't turn me off. Like, that absolutely didn't turn me off. I know it probably would turn off a lot of other women, but we were young. I remember, I was 17. But he was 21 at the time. So, but nonetheless, he was being authentic. And that was definitely something true to his nature. Like, he was always big on that. Like, he was like, no, you shouldn't have bubble guts, and you shouldn't have gas back. No. Like, I don't know. He was always real. So that is like an example of what he's saying, right? Like, you shouldn't be scared. Don't be scared to be real. You know, if you're with the right one, or if you're with a woman who's real, she's going to understand stuff. Especially when it comes to bodily functions. My phone is cold again. It's doing that whole. But anyway.
Impressive woman. You do want to be impressive. I get it.
Well, wait, let me see.
But you don't.
I want to get to the phone part.
Something that you feel like would do better for you to learn. You just go and real laugh. The way you really dress, the way you really think, say things that you really like and you really don't like. You have to rely on being yourself. You don't want a woman to like who you're pretending to be. You want her to like who you actually show up as. This part, because old school players like myself, we grew up in the era where you get a woman's phone text or call a woman. You actually show up.
Okay, so now he's talking about how often you should call a woman, or how fast after you get her phone number. So this is the part that I really like, because you'll see why. Hold on.
Up as, and on a sustainable level. Number 3, when to text or call a woman. This is the hardest part, because old school players like myself, we grew up in the era where you get a woman's phone number on Monday, you probably didn't hit her up until Wednesday or Thursday. And it was so that you didn't appear to be thirsty. Again, I started this video off with a disclaimer. This is not going to be tips and tricks that are based on pride and or ego. You can reach out to this woman anytime you want to. Here goes a little bit of information. If a woman has high levels of interest in you, She wants to hear from you every day. She sure does. If you reaching out to a woman every day turns her off, that means she doesn't have high levels of interest for you. At least once a day. If she has extremely high levels of interest for you, she's going to want to hear from you every day, several times a day. But if a woman just has regular high interest in you at least once a day, hey, just reaching out, seeing how you doing. Hope you have a good one. That's it. Another key on when to reach out and call or text a woman, whenever you have something relevant, exciting, important to say. Never reach out with a woman with nothing in mind. This is going to turn off anybody. Your text messages are going to come off boring. You're going to appear to not have anything going on in life that you should be focused on, like work, gym, yourself, or other things. And so you'll hear a lot of people say, ignore her, or pretend to be busy and all this stuff like that. Well, no, you don't need to do that. If you are thinking about texting her, but you don't have anything in mind to talk about, don't text her. It's safe to not text her if you don't have anything to say. And then when you do have some, hey, quick question. And then break your messages down to make them more engaging. So instead of sending one text message, hey, quick question, do you like this and that and the third? No, say, hey, quick question, and then wait. And then she'll respond to you, and then you say, do you like this, that, and the third, whatever your question was. Okay, so only reach out when you have something exciting to say, relevant, maybe to set up a date, and that's it. I will leave text messages to that. You don't want to be the good morning, beautiful guy that doesn't have anything to follow up with.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
that was it.
4.
So, okay. I'm bringing that up because I like the way he said that. Like, if a woman is interested in you, she's going to want to hear from you every day. If she has a high level of interest, she's going to want to hear from you several times a day. Yes, that is very, very true. For most women. I don't really know. There's probably very, very, very few women who don't agree with that. I mean, I know I feel that way. So I very much feel that way. I'm definitely a talker and communicator. So if I reach out to somebody and they take a day or two to call back, me at my age and my maturity level, for me, I just look at that as they're not interested in me. Because again, a whole world could have happened, like a crisis of some sort. I could have landed myself in, and this actually happened to me. I got into the hospital. Not this week, but this was like a while ago. I'm talking about a year or so ago. I don't know. And in the time that it took for somebody to get back to me or whatever, I had already had a situation with my arm, had another situation. I mean, like a couple different crises. And that's a turnoff. For me, that is a huge turnoff. It is a huge turnoff for me. Okay. If at this age, especially at this age, okay, and especially if a woman is serious, if you do this whole like 2-3 days getting back, like you are so important and so busy that you can't stop for 3 seconds, even while on the toilet, like my man right now, my 6-year-old man, my little 6-year-old, okay, like he will call me. Like a man has time. You are on the phone. You have plenty of time. Like you can find some time to check in if you care about that woman, and if you want her, if you need, and like he says, if calling her or texting her or calling her every day is bothering her, she does not have a high level of interest for you. Then you can take the hint and scale back. If that woman starts to think like when she texts you, okay, and by the time you text her back, you done, whatever, had an accident, had a crisis, had to fly somewhere, here, there, whatever. For me personally, that's a turnoff. That's a turnoff. If I feel that way or that has happened to me, that's a turnoff. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty much going to shut it down with that person. He ain't going to be in my circle, that's for sure. He or she is not going to be in my circle of closeness or anybody I would talk to or call if I really need anything. Okay? Because that person is not even checking on me enough to know if I'm okay, right? But if that woman likes you, or if she likes you a little bit, if she likes you, if the woman likes you, she wants to hear from you every day. Even if you're busy and you can't see her every day or whatever, she wants to hear from you every day. If she really likes you, she wants to hear from you a couple times a day. If she really, really, really likes you, you might talk all day long, or maybe even go to sleep on FaceTime with each other on FaceTime. Like, I've done that with an ex, when we're just on the phone, and even didn't want to separate, even to the point of being on FaceTime with each other until you start snoring. That means she really, really, she loves you. By this point, this girl probably loves you. She's attached to you, right? But I just really like the way he said that, because that is how girls are. That is how most women, females, that's how we are, our communication style and stuff. Like, he is very, very, very true. So if you're like questioning that, or you're not sure, I mean, if the girl gets back to you right away, I mean, she obviously cares. She obviously wants you, she's putting you as a importance. But if a woman starts not texting back, or not texting back right away, and doing that whole thing, like that whole thing, then she's probably lost interest. She's probably lost interest. And she doesn't like you like that. You're just not, you're not, I mean, because to be honest, I feel like, I'm not saying that women don't play games and stuff like that, but a woman's natural default is to talk and to communicate. And for me, if I start falling back in communication and stuff like that, I'm either mad, upset about something, or I'm not looking at you as somebody that's in my circle or sphere, or anybody who really cares about me, or I'm going to really care about, right? Because, I mean, I'm not communicating with you. So, I mean, like, that is so true, but that's how women view it. Like, I don't know why he obviously had to break it down like that, because it's obviously a thing with men. He obviously broke it down like that because men need to know that. Like, they obviously need to know that, because I know guys are different, and it's like, bro, whatever. And I'm not saying, I mean, I get it, like, but if she likes you, or you like her, or if you're trying to tell if this girl really likes you, and she gets back to you, or she likes to hear from you a couple times a day, like, she's going to like that. Like, if she doesn't like it, or she starts pulling back, like she's not responding, or she's acting irritated or whatever, then she's losing interest, lost interest, or out of love, not in whatever. Like, she don't want to be with you, or she's mad. I mean, it's just as simple as that. She's mad. Okay, and so, like, back to what I was saying. When in a crisis, right? If she does call you because she's in a crisis of some sort, and she trusts you, and she is calling you, maybe either for comfort, or for help, or for whatever, and you don't answer, I mean, I don't know. She's probably gonna knock you off a few notches. Like, she's gonna knock you down a few notches. Like, she's gonna be like, yeah, I can't. He doesn't like me like that. He doesn't answer his phone, or he didn't get back to me in time, or whatever. Had a whole ambulance trip or something like that. Like, whatever it could be, right? Like, so I don't know if you guys need to know that or whatever, but I feel like apparently you do, because this video, he said, was for 2025. For 2025, and he's breaking this down. Now, I do think some men kind of already get this naturally, and I say that because I have met some men like that, like, who just naturally get it, like, the communication thing, and they just kind of like naturally. I will have to say, my second husband, he was so good at that. Like, we were out of state most of the time that we were talking or whatever, but he is really good about staying in communication with everybody, not just me, with everybody. Like, I don't know how he has the mental capacity and the memory he calls everybody, he'll check with everybody, he's on the phone a lot. But, like, he would remember my kids' homeworks and stuff that I even forgot and he'd be on FaceTime with them and talking about, you know, Boston, Jaden, did you blah, 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 blah. I used to be like, dang, I mean, he's in another whole state, and he knew what they were supposed to be doing more than me because he was so on it with them. And that was like, I mean, like on FaceTime or just on the phone, like he was like that. Like, but I remember feeling like that was very impressive. I was actually very impressed with that, you know. But the communication thing is huge. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to slice that part of the video, and I'm going to splice that and put that into, and make it into a short, because I really like the way he explained that and broke that down. Anyway, yeah, that's it. 30 minutes. Bye.